Hey guys, I'm here today to do my May wrap-up. I'm super excited to talk to you guys about the books I read in May because I really enjoyed most of them. I don't think I gave anything lower than a 4-star this month. There might have been, I think there was like 1 or 2 or 3 stars, but overall I enjoyed everything and I'm just super excited to talk to you about it. So first I read the book Venom. The Secrets of the Eternal Rose Series 1 by Fiona Paul, and I let my friend actually borrow it because I loved it so much I wanted her to read it too. So it is about a girl in Venice and her friend has just died. Her one of her best friends, like very innocent young girl, has died, and she's mourning her, and she goes to her grave one night, and instead of her friend in the tomb, it is this other girl whose like heart has an X in it, and she's very scared, she's very freaked out, and she runs into this boy in the woods, and they kind of become friends, and they like want to discover this mystery of why her friend's body has been switched out with this other girl's body. And just over time in the book you see there are other murders happening and the bodies have been discovered the same way with like X's over their hearts and such. So it is like a thriller mystery story about like why these girls are going missing, who's killing them, and why. I super loved it. It was really good. I loved this first book so much I had to pick up the second book. So that is Belladonna, also by Fiona Paul, the second book in the Secrets of the Eternal Rose. This one is not, it wasn't as good. That first book was huge. It was probably like 500 to 600 pages, and this one was like 300, maybe 400, a little less than 400. And the third book in the series is also like only 300 pages, so I'm like, oh, did the publisher not really like the story and didn't want as much of it? I don't really know, or she didn't really have as many ideas. The second book was also good. It just continues with the series. She also in the first book it's kind of a love triangle between these two boys, and so it continues in this one, but I don't hate the love triangle. I kind of like both guys in different ways, so I don't really know who I like more and such, and I really love, she is like a high society girl, and she has a maid named Sienna, and I loved her in both of the books, and so I'm super excited to pick up the third book in this series. On my Kindle I read Me Before You by Jojo Moyes because I'm super excited about the movie, just like, you know, everybody else I'm sure, and it was an okay book. Everybody like gives it 5 stars, says it's amazing, and I don't think it was amazing. Like, it was enjoyable. It was a contemporary, like, it was a cute read. The ending was, I don't know, I just didn't like it. Like, I understand it, but like you knew what was gonna happen the whole book, so I didn't even cry and I wasn't really upset. I just knew what was gonna happen at the end, and I hadn't even been spoiled. Like, people just said the ending's sad, so I just assumed what would happen, and like it was sad, but like not really. And I mean, I read it all in one sitting. It was an okay story. It's about a girl who loses her job. She's always just been like a waitress for like the past 6 years or so, and she doesn't really have any goals, ambitions in her life, and she becomes a caregiver for a man who was in I think he got hit by a car and his lower body does not work anymore, so she becomes his caregiver, and she's trying to like make him happy and enjoy life more because he's very depressed, doesn't want to live, and it just like goes from there. The ending was very sad, but like you knew it was going to happen at the same time. So I'm excited to see the movie, but the book wasn't, like, I don't think I'd ever reread it or anything. And I reread The Winner's Crime by Marie Rosetsky so I could pick up The Winner's Kiss. So I read these back to back. Very good. I love this series so much. The first book, I got my friend to borrow it, and I'm super excited because I'm trying to make her read all the books I love. So she read the first book and she really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to let her read these two. It's just a really good story about a girl, captain's daughter, and it's either in this world you have to get married or you have to join the army. She does not want to do either. First book, she purchases a slave, and he just becomes more and more important in both of these books, and it's just a really, really good story. The ending of this one, man, so good. I love the main character so much. Her name's Celestial, Celestial, don't really know. I love her as a character. She's so good. Just amazing books. You should pick these up. I love them. Then I reread a book called Prom by Laurie Halse Anderson. I know Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson is super popular, but I've read all of her books and have enjoyed most of them. This one I used to love, love, love growing up, and it's pretty bad now rereading it. Like, I mean, I'm just not 16 anymore, so it's not that good compared to other books I've read, but I still felt nostalgia for the story. It is about a girl who lives with her 3 brothers, her mom and dad, and they're kind of not poor, but you know, kind of low income in Philadelphia, and she has never really been interested in prom or anything like that. She's kind of a bad girl, like detention, doesn't do her homework, skips class, has an older boyfriend, and her best friend in the like whole world is planning the prom, and she's just super into prom, loves prom, and the prom money gets stolen, so their prom's kind of like not going to happen, and this main character steps in to save the prom for her best friend. And so it's a really good like friendship story. It's just very like kind of over the top, cheesy at some parts, very like ghetto like language. Like, I don't know if that's just how, I think she was trying to like make it sound like teenagers, and it was just really funny reading it now because I'm like, who talks like that? Like, I mean, teenagers do talk in the slang she writes, but like being older now, I'm like, this is so funny. Like, it just seems like she's trying to be so young. But overall, I enjoyed it. It was a good nostalgia read. It's just not as great as I used to think it was. Then I read Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran. I'm sorry, I totally said your name wrong. I did not like this book at all. I gave this 2 stars. It's about a boy who is growing up in New York City around the time of 9/11, and his father dies. The World Trade Center gets hit, and his father has left like 6 answering machine messages of when he's in there, and he's just like, please pick up, please pick up. And the boy can't pick up because he's just so like traumatized. And it's just kind of about his life, and his father always did little like games with him and like little adventures where they like explored New York and like found different, you know, like his father like left clues and stuff, and they found little like mysteries. So he thinks like that his father's died, he's still left him like a mystery to solve, and it's just like really weird, complex mystery that this like 9-year-old invents in his head. And it just did not seem like a 9-year-old in the book. It seemed like a 45-year-old man, like, in a 9-year-old's body. And they said it's like he's supposed to be autistic or Asperger's, but they don't really explain it in the book. So then I watched the movie, and in the movie they had like a line about it where they were like, oh, they thought I might be autistic. But then they didn't like go into it more, so I'm like, so is he or is he not? Is he just a unique child? Like, I just wanted to understand. It was just very hard to understand. This just jumped around so much. It had chapters about like his grandfather. It was super random. It jumped all over. Was not a good book for me. I did enjoy the movie, I think just because it had like a star cast. It had Sandra Bullock as the mom and Tom Hanks as the dad. Very good character, like very good actors. So I liked them, but like the little kid was super annoying. But like as a movie, it was way more enjoyable as a book. So I would actually recommend the movie more. But also my mom like loved this book, so you know, it's just a matter of opinions. I picked up Station 11 on my Kindle. This was by Emily St. John Mandel, I think, about a world that like the population gets this plague and it kills almost like everyone on the planet, and it's now the future, and it's just telling about this girl. When she was younger, she used to be in a like theater group. This really famous like actor was in the theater group too, so she always like hung out with him, and he gave her like comic books, and so she like really loved him. And he dies, and then this like plague happens, and now it's the future in her own traveling like theater group, and it's just kind of like flashbacks to his life and like how he's divorced his wives, and like how these comic books came to be, that he gave to this main character. And then it's kind of like how she is traveling with this theater group and they're just trying to find salvation, trying to find more people, learn about this prophet that is like a kind of a bad religious cult leader who is like kills people who don't believe in his ways, so they're trying to like escape from that. I was really intrigued by like this world with the plague and like technology runs out and like food runs out, and it's just really scary because it could be like our future, you know? Dystopians are horrible, like they freak me out so much. Then I read back to back the 3 books in the Raven Cycle series. So I read Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves, and Blue Lily, Lily Blue. And there is a 4th book, but I haven't picked that up yet. But I was never really interested in reading the series. I didn't really care. But my friend Ashley from Tea Leaves and Bookbindings loves it, and she always says like, you should read it, you need to read it. And I had it on hold at the library for my Kindle, but I've been like, you know, number 20 on hold forever and ever and ever, because I think our library Kindle only has like 1 copy of every book, and you can rent a book for like a month, so it takes forever for us to get books, unless you are like the first person when a new book comes out to like add it. And so I actually went to the library and I saw all 3 of these were there. So I was like, whatever, I'll just pick it up, like, I'll see. I probably won't like it, I'm probably not going to enjoy it. And I picked up that first book, and I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved all the characters. I love all the Raven Boys. Like, everybody knows what this series is about. Like, everyone's read it. It's so good. And I just had to keep reading, and I just read them back to back to back. And I'm super excited for the 4th one. I haven't been spoiled yet, so that's good. I really want certain things to happen. If they don't happen, I'm going to be really sad and upset, because in my mind I have like a perfect ending for this series, and I really hope it goes the way I want it to. But yeah, now I am Raven Cycle trash, even though I thought I would never read it, had no interest. And now I love it, and I really want to own them all, because these are all from the library, so I might have to find these all and add them to my collection. And I read on my Kindle Princess of the Midnight Ball by Jessica Day George. This was the one I was talking about where I bought the 3rd book in the series on accident, and so I was like, oh no, but the library has 1 and 2 on my Kindle, so I picked up 1. It is about a guy who he was in the war, and he finds his like uncle and aunt, because his family is dead, and his uncle is a gardener for a king who has 12 daughters, and they're all named after flowers. So there's like Rose, Lily, Petunia, etc., etc. And his uncle is a gardener, so he becomes like a gardener's apprentice and goes to the castle and starts working with his uncle, and you know, meets all the girls. And the girls start becoming sick, and like every night their shoes are like worn down, their like dancing shoes are worn down, and it's like they go missing every night, but everybody falls asleep and doesn't know what's happening. And you find out they are under a curse from like, it's kind of like, not the devil, but it's like the king under the ground. That the queen had striked a bargain with him that like once all her daughters became of age, like they would get married, but before then they had to like dance every night. It's kind of ridiculous, but I guess it's based off like some story that happened, the 12 Dancing Princess story or something, which I'd never heard of. But I really enjoyed it. It's super good. I love like fantasy type kings, princess, like all that. And this main character just is trying to save the princesses. He doesn't fall under, like everyone falls asleep during the night, and he is able to like stay up to try to investigate, and it's just really good, and I'm super excited to pick up the 2nd book in the series. Then I read Grace's Guide, The Art of Pretending to be a Grown-Up by Grace Helbig. This is like a little self-help guide from Grace, who is a YouTuber. It was okay. I gave it 3 stars. I guess I just didn't really enjoy it because I don't need a self-help book. There's just a lot of chapters that were like how to survive dating, how to survive like hangovers, one-night stands. A lot of it like deals with what's going on in my life. Like I have a steady boyfriend. I don't go out drinking, I don't party, you know, those kind of things. So like all those chapters I was like, oh, funny, I guess, but like I didn't care at the same time. There are some about like jobs and careers and such that I did think were like cute, but they're not, it's not really like serious help either. It's just all a lot of jokes because she's funny, and I don't know, it didn't feel like a waste of time, but it was just kind of like, haha, I don't really care, not really that funny to me, not really helpful. And finally this month I reread A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. Super loved this book the first time I read it. I loved it even more this time around, and I'm really excited to read A Court of Mist and Fury because I know everyone has been loving that even more than this one. This is kind of a retelling of Beauty and the Beast with fairies or fae, and I just really like it. I love the main character. I really like the character Lucien, who is like there's the King Tomlin, and Lucien is kind of like his second in command, kind of. And I really love him, and I really want him and the main character to be together, but I don't think they ever will. And I'm sad because I like would love them to be together. I hope that's the twist in like the ending, that they are, because I would be super happy. But it's just really good. I enjoyed it, and I'm excited for the sequel. So yeah guys, those are the books I read in May. I'm super happy I read this many because I've been kind of slumping this year, and this was a pretty good number for me so far this year. And I don't think I'm going to be reading at all in June because I'm going to Disney actually. So yeah, I'm super excited I read all of these. And what are some books you read? Let me know below, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys!